100 years ago, only the rich had cars and the poor people had horses. Today, fast forward to today, rich people have horses and poor people have cars. Hey, how the stables have turned. Just sharing liberals. You know what? They figured stuff out many years ago and now they're acting on that. They need to control the media. They need to control the schools, the kids, their minds, and they're working hard at that, and it seems to be working for them. It's ideological subversion. Canada, we'll use them as an example. You know what? They're on steroids with regard to the kid part in school, and they've been in there with all power, all forces of the liberal left, and they're brainwashing people, and it's working well for them. There's no national anthem in school anymore. Canada's a bad person, basically, the country, and the teachers and the government are always telling the students and other people as well, but certainly they're aiming at the students with regard to how bad things were in the past. So we have to apologize. We're so sorry that we did this to these people 100 years ago and 200 years ago. So the country's bad and the children are angry at their own country, okay? That's part of the whole indoctrination that they do. You got to pump them full of propaganda, and when they're adults, they take that baggage with them wherever they go, and it's poison, but the liberals need people to be dependent on government, handouts to individuals and to corporations. That's a necessity. That's something you have to do when you're a left-wing whack, because you do have this agenda. It becomes an addiction, basically, all of these handouts. Good people rationalize their part of the system. I have to take money to be competitive. Frank took us and George is going to, so I better as well. And it goes on, and they're all waiting for their check. And the difference now is that there is no difference between government and people, because when you say government, that's your money. But now people don't get that difference. They actually think government is a separate body. The government will give me another check, when in fact they're really taking from their right pocket and putting it into their left pocket, and somebody else is getting a bunch in the middle. It becomes an addiction, and after all this rationalizing goes on, it's still an addiction. It's like heroin. History shows that this sort of political action always ends badly. It never ends well. People become terrified, and they trade their most prized possession for the care of a dictator. The world's collapsing. Please come in and look after me, and I'll give you my possession, the one that I prize most, and that, of course, is freedom. And it happens all of the time. Here's my freedom. Look after me, please. And how do you deprogram people like that? Not easy. Very, very difficult. But you have to go about deprogramming people, because the brainwashing is so well done that the liberals really are now immune to anything that deviates from their perception of reality, because they don't have a grasp or a handle on reality. The way they see life, it's been altered, right? It's brilliant. Liberalism is like a cancer, and truly it becomes a brain disease, and liberalism is a brain disease. So what's the effects? I mean, half of us are not infected. Half of us are. Half of us can't be cured for the most part. How do we make sure that we don't get infected, and affected? And you know what? It's not easy again, but there is a solution. And the first thing you have to do is make a statement. You got to talk to people. You got to tell people what it is, and you have to stop doing things like me. I mean, often in my life, I haven't been competitive. I've never taken a government check. It's my little private protest, and it's painful because had I been part of the system, I would have been in a lot better shape. For example, this show that you're watching right now, as we speak, if I would put up a green screen behind, I would get a tax credit for, I think it's $3,500 or something per show. Really? You bunch of commies? Why would you do that? And I can get more grants if I fill out the forms. Get out of my life. I mean, I'd rather go out and make money than I would take the time and fill out your stupid little forms to get your money. And it's not your money. It's my money. And it's your money. But they continue to do it. So the propaganda, all that brainwashing stuff that I'm talking about here is happening. Pay attention to your schools. In Canada, again, that's the example I'm giving today, but it's in every country around the world. They're coming to get us. Look what the President of the United States of America goes through every day. Back to propaganda, it's a key word. I mean, they're pounding us and they're beating us, and we gotta hit back. And in terms of the schools, we gotta pay attention. You gotta go to school, and you gotta see what's being said to your child. And Canada, for heaven's sakes, put the flag up and say, oh, Canada, be proud of something, whereas you have a leader who leads a party of whacks in Canada who says that there's no culture in Canada anyway, so just go and do this and go do that. And it's all part of what they're doing. They have a plan, and it seems to be working. We got to stop it. Brain disease, you got to get fixed. Y'all come back tomorrow. We'll get more for you from the right. See ya.